Global happenings today. We communicate. We analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to our channel. Some few hours ago, the AGF of the Federation spoke strongly about what is going on, not just in Rivers State, in Kano State, and every other state, 36 states of the Federation. And one of such is the local government allocations, referring to the state allocations and what is therefore is resonating on social media. Many Nigerians are arguing back and forth what could be the case. And of course, one of the strong allies of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, strong supporter of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, have decided to call out Wike over the dent he's creating with the fight he's having with his prodigy Fubar, and giving him directions on what to do. We're going to get all of these full juicy details in a moment. But before we do that, kindly subscribe to our channel. Let's find out what Lateef Fagbemi is really saying. Now, according to the news, the Attorney General of the Federation, Minister of Justice Lateef Olasukomi, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, said as at Thursday warned that henceforth local government election conducted without 6 months' notice will face nullification. Now, according to the AGF, the government is committed to enthroning sanity at the third tier of governance. Any state governor who fails to give 6 months' notice before conducting local government elections will face nullifications in courts, he quoted as saying. Now, the AGF stating this recently at the 12th convocation of Afe Babalola University in Ado-Ekiti, Ekiti State. Lately, state governors across the country are reportedly engaging in late-minute rushes to conduct local government elections without recourse to the law setting up election matters, just to meet up with the alleged 3 months moratorium. While some states gave up to 4 months notice before the council polls, a good number of governors gave between 3 weeks and 1 month's notice to the election, while some state House of Assembly amended the local government laws to suit their masters' political whims and caprices. Now, reacting to the frenzy by governors to conduct local government elections, as well as on the Supreme Court's ruling on the local government autonomy, Fagbemi denied that there was no truth to reports suggesting that state governors had been granted a 3 months moratorium to delay the implementation of the court's decision. Fagbemi added, and I quote him word for word, "The ruling ensures the financial autonomy of all 774 local governments," pointing out that some state governments have scheduled local government elections beyond the October deadline and may face legal challenges if their actions do not align with the law. Typically, 6 months' notice is required for elections, and failing to meet this condition could result in nullification by the court, he said. And many Nigerians are, battling. Does it mean Rivers State and Kano State are involved? But before we go into full analysis on that, let us find out what a strong ally of Bola Ahmed Tinubu is saying, warning Wike on what is going on in Rivers State. Now, Daniel Bwala, the former spokesperson for the Atiku Abubakar 2023 presidential election and now in good terms with the president, has called on the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, to shield his sword and partner with Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara. Now, Bwala made this call while reacting to a now viral video of the Kano State Governor, Abba Yusuf, giving up his seat to his political godfather, Senator Rabiu Kwangwanso. Now, Yusuf, who attended a state function in Kano with Kwangwanso, the former governor of the state, gave up his seat for the Kano State chieftain, sparking commendations across social media. Now, speaking on the incident in a statement on his social media handle, Bwala, while advising Wike, mentioned that leadership is not by threatening. Bwala urged the former governor of the state to show humility so as to restore peace in Rivers State and propagate the image of President Bola Tinubu across Niger Delta region. Bwala said, and I quote him word for word, "See, the governor of Kano out of his own volition, gave his governor seat to Kwangwaso at Rabiu Kwangwaso to sit at an occasion. How I wish Wike would learn and know that leadership is not by threatening Fubar and grounding the state, but by example of humility. I wish Wike knew that partnering with Fubar would enhance the Bola Tinubu's administration's image and chances in not just Rivers State, but the entire Niger Delta. Isn't it ironical that President Tinubu's landmark achievement of local government autonomy is being subverted in Rivers State? Fubar and his predecessor Wike have been at loggerheads over the control of the political structure of the state, among other things, a development that has led to accusations and counter-accusations by both parties. My colleague is in the house. I want to look at this very quickly, not touching the two the top news. One, the fact that the AGF has mentioned about 6 months, those who didn't go through 6 months, well, the elections should be notified. Is he referring to the ones that have already done? Because some elections have taken place, like the likes of River State, Akwa Ibom State, and they didn't give 6 months notice, but everybody believed that there was this 3 months grace. Or is he referring to future elections going forward? Because I think it's a question of on the interpretation of the English language used. And then, of course, what Bola is saying concerning the issue of his prodigy and the fact that the fight he is having with Fubar is painting Bola Tinubu's administration in a bad light.
Well, the issue there, if you listen very well to what was said, the AGFs, mentioned that henceforth, that was the word, henceforth. So I know that the other guys are excluded. Don't forget that this whole thing came when autonomy was being granted to the local government. And I think the Supreme Court expectation was that it should be swift. Immediately, everything should be done. Elections should take place because, unfortunately, the local government were actually running with a caretaker committee. And that caretaker committee, since it was not legitimately elected, the court frowned at it because it was out of place. So that was why they announced it for the next 3 months. Everything should be settled and everything should return back to the hand or leadership of local government should return back to elected officers, and then the autonomy, the financial autonomy will take place. So I don't think the likes of Fubar are included because everybody was trying to run in accordance to the provision of the Supreme Court. Don't forget that even if most people are pointing fingers at Fubar had appointed caretaker committee chairman, and they were doing superbly, and everybody was like, why should he do it? And he doesn't want to do the local government election, and he had to. The next 3 months, he was able to do his own. So for me, I don't think it's part of the whole stuff. This guy is talking about from henceforth, which means from this time after the autonomy, everybody had congratized on the autonomy and elections have taken place. Subsequent elections that will be coming up, this is what will be obtainable, and that is that notification will be given for the next 6 months. But then I don't know if the notification will be given within the time frame of when the other guys are still in power, or it will be a case of they're out of power and then the caretaker committee is kept for that 6 months before election will take place to avoid any form of fraud during the period of election. Now back to what the issue of Wike. Wike is has a different lifestyle with Kwangwanso. And don't forget that Kwangwanso was not the governor of Kano State. Kwangwanso was the leader, I can call him political leader of NNPP. He wasn't the governor of Kano State. I'm talking about the immediate governor of Kano State. He was the political leader of the party. So much of his influence wouldn't have been felt. But then, he's a man that respects himself and also understands what it means to be a governor, that you are like, the president of the country. You must be given that free hands to operate. Nobody should. But then, it's just believed that 1 or 2 things should come in. And the governor of Kano State has already come out, Yusuf, Governor Yusuf has come out to say, I don't have a problem with my political leader. We are cool, and although there's some hidden words here and there that there's this struggle for this and that, but he says they don't have any issues and they're working fine. Wike is different. Wike has a child that's someone he's kind of hand-holding. His mentee took over from him. So I think that's why it's getting higher, because the intended plan was for me to be running the show for him as long as I can, until when I said, okay, you're grown enough to handle things. But this guy, all of his overnight was overgrown, and so that's why he's feeling very terrible, and he feels betrayed and all of that. But however, it's important to know that other political leaders have been betrayed like this. But what they did was to wait for the next election for them to prove their supremacy in the state. And I think that that's the way Fubar Wike would have handled it if he had the love of the people at heart. Because like Oshumole understood very well that the people is a priority, or the people, they are the number one when it comes to democracy. So let me allow them to enjoy the dividend of democracy from this guy. But when it's time for the re-election, this is our standpoint. And I think that is an ideal way to handle it. You allow the guy to do whatever he wants to do. If he's betraying you, no problem. But hey, come on, when the time comes for you to be re-elected, I won't allow it based on his influence. But Wike is a different guy. He knows how to play. That's just it.